Offshore wind is a revolutionary way to utilize our coastal winds and change our energy to cleaner and more renewable sources. Offshore turbines are so beneficial because they take up less area that could be used for more necessary things on land. There are also much more steady and constant winds at sea rather than on land. Also, compared to solar power and other renewable energies, these wind turbines can be operated at almost all hours of the day, only needing to be switched off during times of extreme wind. They also consume less operational energy and overall generate more power to the grid.
Offshore wind provides many advantages over the traditional onshore wind turbine or wind farm. Offshore wind speeds tend to be much higher and more consistent than that of onshore winds. This is due to the unobstructed nature of the ocean and the minimal friction that water opposes on the wind. In the construction process of offshore wind, these projects can incur a lot less stress and cost involving transportation. The blades of the turbine are shipped via boat, which allows for the turbines to be much larger because navigation through land-based infrastructure limits the blade size. These larger turbines have the ability to increase their wind harnessing power because of larger blade lengths and swept areas. Additionally, these offshore wind farms are not as protested as onshore because they do not inhibit the land use or conflicts with the aesthetic of a community. Finally, to put this all into perspective, according to Aurora Energy Research, the largest offshore wind turbine can produce between 14 and 15 megawatts of power, while onshore wind turbines can only reach up to 4 to 5 megawatts.
Surprisingly enough, offshore wind can even help mitigate against natural disasters. These turbines are capable of reducing overall wind speeds and decreasing possible storm surges. They can even help predict and prevent earthquakes by using the fiber optic cables and technologies that are already in the ground to help transfer power to each turbine. These fiber optic cables are very good at sensing seismic movement within the ground and can be studied by scientists.
Unfortunately, there seems to be some challenges with building offshore wind farms, but these problems are becoming less and less of an issue due to advancing technologies and familiarity with the construction process. Some of the current issues consist of high cost of turbine foundation, electrical transmission, and operation/maintenance, making these turbines on average 20% more expensive than the same size turbine on land. Additionally, offshore wind farms are fairly new concepts for builders, and the entire industry lacks the experience with the construction process. Another challenge with offshore wind is the danger the construction process has on marine wildlife that is sanctioned under a more strict environmental standard. Although, like any other renewable energy, offshore wind is in a constant battle with the reducing prices of natural gas, making renewables uneconomical at some times. Like most renewable energies, geographic location is critical to the overall efficiency of the system, such as days of sunlight for PV or damming locations for hydroelectric. With offshore wind, turbine location is limited to the areas with high wind, flat terrain, and low population density. But with offshore wind, these limitations are virtually eliminated. Developers are confident in the consistent, high, and unobstructed wind speed on the majority of the United States coastline, and only have to steer clear of protected marine habitats, deep water, and shipping canals.
There are many different turbine foundation types that each have many different properties to help the turbine operate in the ocean. The two most common fixed bottom foundations are the monopile and the jacket. However, there are others such as the tripod, tripile, and gravity-based foundation. These foundations require construction in the water to implant the bases into the ground and stabilize the turbines. However, there are also floating foundations, which allow for these turbines to be placed in deeper water where the wind speeds are even steadier. These foundations include the spar buoy, the spar submersible, and the tension leg platform. The tension leg platform seems to be revolutionary as it minimizes wave motion, which can be damaging for the turbine, although all of these have their limitations and can only be operated at certain depths. Two examples of these are Highwind Scotland, which was the first floating wind farm. It uses spar buoy foundation technology and can operate at 30 megawatts. It's 25 kilometers away from the shore and located off the east coast of the United Kingdom. While this farm is the first of its kind, it is relatively low on energy output. However, Gemini is a newer construction that is located 55 kilometers from the north coast of the Netherlands. They did this for two reasons. One, to reduce the visual pollution of the large wind farm, and to also receive higher wind speeds to reach a max output of 600 megawatts from monopile foundation turbines. There has already been a big push for wind energy, and scientists even speculate that offshore wind could easily be capable of providing all of humanity's power. It is also predicted that this new wind energy could supply the US with nearly 83,000 jobs and be reflected in our annual economic output by an increase of 25 million just by the year 2030.